Hello, St. Martin and the rest of the world, and welcome to the premiere broadcast of SXM Daily News Magazine, a weekly program that will bring you up to date on the latest news, current events, and feature stories. I'm Valerie Van Putten, and I'm joined with my co-host, Fernando Clark. SXM Daily News Magazine is a spin-off of SXM Daily News, which used to be broadcasted on St. Martin Cable TV every weeknight at 7:30 p.m. with a repeat at 11 p.m. and then again in the morning. However, due to lack of sponsors, the producers, Orion Production Studios, had to suspend the daily news broadcast, but because so many viewers was asking about the news, they decided to do a live magazine-style program every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and this is it. And I do hope that you will continue to tune in. We promise to keep you informed and up to date on what is happening, not only here, but in our region as well. Cable TV viewers, however, will not be able to see the live broadcast, but they will be able to see the program on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Let me now introduce to you my co-host, who is by no means a stranger to many of you, Mr. Fernando Clark.
Thank you, Valerie. And we thank you for tuning in to our live broadcast, where we will be covering news items that you may have missed or forgotten this week. So let's get into the headlines for today. Detailed stories we have for you today are: COVID-19 threatens the capacity of hospitals on both sides of the island. Minister of Public Health gives a stern warning and threatens of lockdown and police increased control in Phillipsburg. We also have the weather report and more coming up.
Organic Creations is your place when looking for natural health supplements and whole foods. We supply a wide variety of herbal teas, multivitamins, liquid herbs, Artist Life products, organic nuts and grains, essential oils, and supplements for a wide variety of health conditions, all at reasonable price. Our certified nutritionist is the perfect guide for supplements that best suit you. Inquire also about our gift certificate for that special someone. Remember, your health is your responsibility. So visit Organic Creations today at shop number 1 in the Orange Grove Shopping Center there in Colby, or call us at 721-523-9496. We open Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Organic Creations, where your health is top priority.
In our first story, Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor addresses the rise in COVID cases. Get vaccinated, do routine safely testing, or go into lockdown. It's as simple as that. Those were the words of Minister of VSR Omar Otley. The minister addressed the public in a national address on Friday evening and informed the island that a curfew will go into effect at 11 p.m. on Monday. Here's what the minister had to say.
Specifically on the Delta variant, we are currently at 167 active cases, with 15 persons hospitalized. Those are the latest results of the COVID-19. With the hospital being almost at capacity, I would like to bring you some realities. The reality is, if you're vaxxed, if you are not vaxxed, if you are infected with COVID-19 and you are critical, the hospital will have no choice but to turn you away. We see, if we look across the border on the French side, they are going through the same struggles. Guadeloupe and Martinique has said that they are not able to take anyone else, and Frenchside is at capacity. We are at war with COVID-19. We are at war with it together. Frenchside and Dutchside. We all are facing the same struggles. I am asking everyone, if you are interested in being vaccinated, you can do so at CPS in the Vineyard Building, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you are interested in being tested, you can do so at the drive-thru in Point Blanche, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday, and on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. I am asking the community to consider the vaccination. And if you do not want to be vaccinated, consider safety testing, where you can know your status, protect yourself, and protect the ones around you. Due to the current resurgence of COVID-19, we are forced to scale back to 11 p.m. This was in consultation with the stakeholders who all agree that the safety of St. Martin come first. The scale back will take place on Monday. We are asking all persons to do your part in the fight against COVID-19. If you experience symptoms, please stay home. Contact your GP, your doctor, your general practitioner.
During the 2021 budget debate, Minister Otley made a presentation that illustrated the relationship between the extension of nightlife and the increase in active COVID-19 cases. Because of this correlation and the recent rise in cases, an emergency meeting was scheduled with the club owners on Friday, August 6th. This is what the minister had to say during Wednesday's press briefing.
I remember when we first detected the Delta variant on St. Martin, we were in the teens with numbers, and I stressed on the potency of the Delta variant. I stressed on the strength of the Delta variant and how easy it is to contract the Delta variant. And within 2 weeks, we are at 112 cases. We need to find a balance between economic activities and safety. I am working closely with the Minister of TIAT. We have organized an urgent meeting with all club owners this Friday to establish one protocol throughout. Once these protocols are established, violators of these protocols will be penalized. We don't want to reverse the time. We don't want to scale back. We are hoping not to, but however, strict measures need to be in place moving forward.
In our second story, COVID-19 threatens the capacity of hospitals on both sides of the island, and the French government institutes curfews. In recent days, the island has been battling the steady increase in positive COVID-19 cases, resulting in the St. Martin Medical Center, SMMC, postponing all non-urgent and elective surgeries, admissions to the medical and surgical departments. The hospital is nearing its care capacity. Dr. Felix Holliday, St. Martin Medical Center's director and chairman of the outbreak management team, stated, "Our medical staff and nurses are again pressured immensely, and we are doing all that we can to safeguard our overall healthcare system. At present, there are currently 15 persons hospitalized due to the coronavirus, 2 of which are vaccinated, according to the Minister of Public Health, Omar Otley. Appointments at the St. Martin Medical Center, other inpatient departments, and the outpatient department will continue as planned," and a St. Martin Medical Center press statement added. Matters are also no different on the northern side of St. Martin. While both French and Dutch governing administrations are tackling the coronavirus separately, St. Martin has an open border where people are free to work, live, and play on either side. The Prefecture for St. Bart's and St. Martin announced on August 4th that as of Thursday, August the 5th, and until Friday, August the 20th, at 5 a.m., a curfew is in place on both sides from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in order to limit movement and gatherings, which increase the risk of contamination. Travel will be prohibited during those times unless there is a compelling reason. People having to travel in those time slots will have to bring a certificate and supporting documents to justify their situation. The health situations in Guadeloupe and Martinique have deteriorated for several weeks, and our hospital system cannot cope alone, a statement from the prefecture read.
And in our third story, strict COVID-19 protocols for Monday's reopening of schools. This upcoming Monday, August 9th, the 2021 and 2022 academic year will begin with regular hours and in-class education. Education Minister Dr. Anders Rudolph Samuel said on Wednesday, August 3rd, that considering the current coronavirus pandemic, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, ECYS, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, reviewed the situation regarding the local spread of COVID-19. From the start of the pandemic in 2020 to date, the cases within schools account for 166 and consist of 59 teachers, 104 students, and 3 staff members. Presently, there are 0 active clusters within schools. The minister stated, it must be mentioned that schools have been closed for weeks and only teachers and administrators are present as they gear up for classes to begin.
All schools are hereby advised to proceed in maintaining approach 4. Approach 4 was the approach that we ended off the school year with. So according to approach 4, regular school hours in class instruction will apply. Schools are advised to maintain proper hygiene and sanitation protocols, and strict surveillance is to be enforced by the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, as well as by schools. In addition, it is advised that all school children above 5 years and older and staff continue to wear masks at all times indoors, and that spaces be ventilated.
The minister said that all schools will be inspected prior to the opening of the new academic year and will receive the relevant correspondence from the Division of Inspection as to the date and time of inspections. Claire Elshot, president of the Windward Islands Teachers Union, also shared a message for the nation's educators amidst the current challenges posed by the pandemic.
With the rise of the cases, I would like to really stress to the teachers to make sure, adhere to all the protocols, make sure that they take all the measures, even if it takes more time for them to control the measures put in place, because our ministers is saying children 5 years and over should wear a mask indoors the whole time. I really am not from the medical field, so I don't know what is true from what is not true, but basically the school boards of schools that don't fall under public education, they have from since last school year put a number of things in place, so I hope that will continue. That is their responsibility, but the responsibility of the minister and the ministry and the DPE, the Department of Public Education, for the safety and the health in the schools, the public schools. I hope that he preaches and he makes sure that that is also in order, because big time they're still lacking on repairs, the mold situation in the schools, and with the rain that is coming right now, you could imagine repairs not being completed, we can have a more serious consequence. A number of teachers are really, really scared, especially those with underlying conditions.
Now let's take a look at our local weather report. today's report, and the 3-day forecast. A tropical wave located several hundred miles east of the Caribbean is producing limited shower activity. Development, if any, of this system is expected to be slow to occur as it moves west-northwestward. A small but well-defined area of low pressure located about 1,000 miles east of the Lesser Antilles is producing limited shower activity. Development of this system, if any, is expected to be slow to occur while it drifts toward the west-southwestward or west over the central tropical Atlantic through the middle of next week. A large area of disturbed weather associated with a tropical wave located near the Cabo Verde island appears somewhat conducive for gradual development over the next several days, and a tropical depression could from late this weekend or early next week, while the system moves generally west-northwestward across the tropical Atlantic. So the outlook through Sunday morning, partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with isolated showers. And the outlook through Monday morning, partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with isolated showers. Now, let's take a look at our 3-day forecast.
Police increased control in Phillipsburg. This is our 4th story. The police force of St. Martin, KPSM, issued fines for various traffic offenses, ordered vehicles owners to remove very dark tint from their vehicles, and confiscated 1 scooter in traffic controls in Phillipsburg on Wednesday, August 4th. The confiscated scooter was one of 3 scooters stopped in the control. 22 drivers had to remove the very dark tint from their vehicles in the presence of the police officers. Fines were issued to 22 people for various infractions, such as not having their driver's license or insurance in the vehicle and driving without wearing a seatbelt. Drivers are reminded by the police to all vehicles' documents in the vehicles. They must have their documents in the vehicle, and to always have their driver's license when operating a vehicle, and to adhere to all traffic rules when using the roads. The police force of St. Martin has increased its visibility in Phillipsburg, the capital of St. Martin. Officers have and will continue to execute targeted controls for the safety of residents, visitors, and businesses in view of the resurgence of economic activities in Phillipsburg. These controls also double the training for rookie police officers with the goal of helping them better their skills while improving service to the community. The controls took place under the supervision of the police training instructors and senior police officers. KPSM intends to execute frequently controls for the safety of the community, their press release stated and concluded.
Okay.
Well, it's about time that the police started doing this. It's been a while, Valerie. And it is something that is really needed because especially in that area between the cadastre office and GEBE, in that area always seem to have some kind of cluster and people just parking on any side of the road and, you know.
Yeah. And the parking on Front Street is another area, another issue that really needs to be dealt with. But Minister of Romy, Doran, stated yesterday during one of the radio programs, I believe it was on Grace, that he spoke about by December, they are hoping to have the issue of Front Street, dealt with.
Well, let's hope that they do that and that they will be consistent in what they're doing. Because from time to time we see they come out one day and you don't see them for a number of days.
Exactly.
So consistency is very, very important. Anyhow, coming up next, strict COVID-19 protocols for Monday's reopening of school, public sale and consumption of alcohol, ban on the North, and police force team up with the prosecutor's office to confiscate illegal guns. We have further details of these headlines and more. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll be right back after this brief commercial break.
Organic Creations is your place when looking for natural health supplements and whole foods. We supply a wide variety of herbal teas, multivitamins, liquid herbs, Artist Life products, organic nuts and grains, essential oils, and supplements for a wide variety of health conditions, all at a reasonable price. Our certified nutritionist is the perfect guide for supplements that best suits you. Inquire also about our gift certificate for that special someone. Remember, your health is your responsibility. So visit Organic Creations today at shop number 1 in the Orange Grove Shopping Center there in Colby, or call us at 721-523-9496. We open Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Organic Creations, where your health is top priority.
Welcome back, viewers. You are watching SXM Daily News Magazine, and I'm Valerie Van Putten.
And I'm Fernando Clark. Here are the latest developments. The Prefet bans sale and consumption of alcohol on the public highways and strengthens entry conditions to St. Bart's and Saint-Martin. Prefet Délégué Serge Couteron stated at the press conference that the sale of alcohol consumption and alcohol on the public highway are banned between the hours of 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. until further notice. This is an additional measure to fight the spread of COVID-19 virus and is implemented due to the deteriorating health situation in St. Bart's and a persistent high occupancy rate of COVID patients in the Louis Constant Fleming Hospital. The measures is intended to prevent unannounced private gatherings of people generally associated with consumption of alcohol, which is conducive to people dropping their guard when it comes to applying protective measures such as keeping a distance and wearing the mask. The gendarmerie will be checking as this measure is enforced. Also, in order to limit the spread of the virus between the islands of St. Bart's and St. Martin, the Prefet has decided that travelers by sea must now present a complete vaccination status or the results of a negative antigen or PCR test while having a compelling reason to travel. They must also respect 7-day isolation on arrival in the territory, he stated. In addition, as a reminder, travelers from St. Martin via air or sea or another country classified as orange in the Director of St. Bart's must, if they are not vaccinated, present the results of a negative antigen or PCR test having a compelling reason and respect 7-day isolation on arrival in the territory. The other travel arrangements remain unchanged.
And in other news, prosecutor office has confiscated illegal guns. The police force of St. Martin KPSM, in collaboration with the prosecutor's office, SXM, has confiscated 6 illegal firearms in the past 4 months. The weapons are related primarily to armed robberies committed on Front Street jewelry stores. These confiscations average at least 1 illegal firearm taken off the streets by law enforcement officers approximately every 3 weeks. The weapons were confiscated directly from suspects found in searches or from crime scenes. While the removal of these deadly weapons from the streets is a good development, SXM is still very concerned about the number of illegal firearms in the country and the use of these in the committing of crimes. the prosecutor's office said in a statement. The ongoing cases that have yielded these illegal firearms are not only some of the incidents in which firearms were used by criminals since the start of 2021. Possession of an illegal firearm carries severe penalties under the penal code. Those penalties become even graver when weapons are used in a crime and used to assault, injure, or kill another person, the prosecutor office warns.
And the Minister of Justice looking forward to policy on sex offender registry. During Wednesday's July 28 Council of Ministers press briefing, the Minister of Justice, Anna Richardson, stated, "We are looking forward to developing a policy where registration is on the way," she expressed, and added the following statement. And sexual abuse were made public, resulting in short-time uproar in the community. However, relatively known predators continue to socialize freely while remaining unknown to the larger community around them. A sex offender registry is therefore needed as it contains detailed information of anyone who was convicted, cautioned, or released from prison for a sexual offense against children or adults. This is instrumental for background checks where employment, lease or rental agreements, and public awareness is concerned. According to RAIN organization, meaning Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, sexual harassment is a broad term including many types of unwelcome verbal and physical sexual attention. Sexual assault refers to sexual contact or behavior, often physical, that occurs within the context of the victim. Unfortunately, sexual harassment is still not punishable by law in St. Martin. Sexual abuse is handled by the police, and a shelter does exist for women and children who are violated in sexual or domestic abuse. Recently, the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor signed off on a policy commissioned by both ministries to strengthen government's response to combat domestic violence, child abuse, and gender-based violence through legislation and procedures that prevent their occurrence, a government release stated. The policy included the 3 degrees of violence and the penalties attached for each action, whether it was committed individually or collectively. In the past, St. Martin has experienced a school principal, teacher, coaches, and even former government ministers convicted or accused of sexual harassment and abuse against minors or adults. If it happens at the workplace, it is up to the company's policies, guidelines to deal with the situation since no outside or legal source of help is available. A registry is a step towards alerting the public or perpetrators, particularly if they are at spaces near the victims and other children.
And in more news, cost-cutting ordinances to be challenged in court on August the 20th. In late July, a case management conference was held in the review of cuts to employment benefits of all public and semi-public sector workers, which the Ombudsman of St. Martin filed with the Constitutional Court of St. Martin. The Ombudsman, whose role is to guard the Constitution and investigate public complaints against the government. The conference was held through a video conferencing link between the courthouses in St. Martin and in Willemstad. Constitutional Court President Jacob Witt, assisted by Registrar Joan Becker, presided over the conference. In attendance were Ombudsman Gwendoline Mossel and her legal counsel, attorney-at-law Jason Rogers for the applicant, and attorney Richard Gibson Jr. and Marika Zadelhoff of the Department of Legal Affairs and Legislation of the Ministry of General Affairs for the defendant. After hearing the parties involved in this case and the legal counsel, it was decided by the court president that the hearing of the constitutional matter, which had already been set for Friday, August the 20th, will commence at 9:30 a.m. in the courthouse in Phillipsburg. It was agreed that both sides will deliver their oral arguments in English, which will also be the main language in which the oral proceedings will be conducted. These proceedings are often done in the Dutch language. While St. Martin's official language are English and Dutch, the Dutch language often takes precedence as the legal system and laws are Dutch. The cost-cutting measures, which were part of the first set of conditions the Netherlands placed on St. Martin, were the low-interest loan they are providing as liquidity support. The government and the semi-public sector had to reduce personnel expenses by 12.5%. In an effort to avoid actually reducing salaries, the government opted to withhold payment of the 2020-2021 vacation allowance, reduced the 2019-2020 vacation pay by 50%, and cut other benefits such as overtime and uniforms. Anyway, and before we go to the break, we will stay tuned for the following headlines coming from the region. St. Vincent and Grenadines Prime Minister hit in the head with a rock. Breakthrough in information of former Grenada Revolution leader Maurice Bishop arrest, and the Caribbean mourns the death of CASAV's co-founder. We'll have further details of those stories and more. Thank you for watching and staying tuned with us, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Organic Creations is your place when looking for natural health supplements and whole foods. We supply a wide variety of herbal teas, multivitamins, liquid herbs, Artist Life products, organic nuts and grains, essential oils, and supplements for a wide variety of health conditions, all at reasonable price. Our certified nutritionist is the perfect guide for supplements that best suit you. Inquire also about our gift certificate for that special someone. Remember, your health is your responsibility. So visit Organic Creations today at shop number 1 in the Orange Grove Shopping Center there in Colby, or call us at 721-523-9496. We open Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Organic Creations, where your health is top priority.
Welcome back, viewers. I'm Fernando Clark, and I'm joined by my co-host, Valerie Van Putten.
Hi, Fernando. Fernando, during our first segment of the program, we were talking about the increase in COVID-19 cases and the Delta variant. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think should be done, and why aren't people listening?
You know, there's an old saying that says, who don't hear must feel.
Yeah.
But I think here everybody have to be responsible and do their part. You know, we cannot, wait for government or expect government to do everything for us. We know what it is. Like the minister said, this COVID-19 has been around for a year and a half now. We know what to do, and we know what not to do. Come on, let's be responsible and do what we have to do. And if you don't know what to do, I'll remind you, always walk with your mask. I got mine. Always walk with it. Even has my identity on it.
Have your initials on it, right?
Yeah, my initials.
Have your initials.
So always walk with your mask. Also, walk with your hand sanitizer, because I got mine, as you can see. So, always sanitize as often as necessary and keep your distance. You see, there's a distance between Valerie and myself, so keep your social distance. And that is for your own health, for your family, for your friends, your loved one, and for the island in general. we can be looking at another lockdown. It's being discussed.
Exactly.
So let us be responsible people.
One of our colleagues in the studio with us today, Mr. Contav, he reminded me earlier today, that there were 71 cases this time last year. You know, in the middle of COVID, and today it's 100, almost 200.
Almost 200.
You know, something needs to be done. Otherwise, we will go into lockdown, and nobody wants that. So please keep your distance, sanitize, wear your mask, and just let's not overdo it.
Yeah. Vaccinated or not, do it. Now, back to the news. St. Vincent and Grenadines leader hit during anti-vaccine mandate protest. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been hospitalized after being injured at a protest against the proposed vaccine mandate. Ralph Gonzalez was walking through the crowd outside Parliament when he was reportedly hit in the head by a stone. Images show the Prime Minister bleeding as he was rushed away from the scene. The Finance Minister said he had been transferred to Barbados for an MRI scan and on the advice of medical staff, Reuters agencies reported. Protesters had gathered on Thursday to demonstrate against plans to require most frontline health workers to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Stones and water bottles were thrown at the protest, according to reports. His office told Reuters the 74-year-old was hit by a projectile. Local media suggests it was a stone. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which lies in the South Caribbean, is made up of more than 32 islands. The country has recorded 2,298 coronavirus cases and 12 deaths since the pandemic began, according to figures from Johns Hopkins University. Almost 9% of the population has been fully vaccinated, the university stated. Its tourism industry has been badly impacted by the pandemic, and thousands of people were forced to leave their homes following a volcanic eruption in April.
And in more regional news, Lane and Cornwall identified as the persons who put Maurice Bishop under house arrest. In a breaking news release published online yesterday, the identities of the persons who arrested the deceased Grenada Prime Minister and revolutionary, Mr. Maurice Bishop, was announced by the former general of the People's Revolutionary Army, Hudson Austin. He was part of the opposition that led to Bishop's execution. Austin has identified two of the former top brass in the Army, Lieutenant Colonel Ewart Lane and Major Leon Bogo Cornwall, along with ex-Deputy Prime Minister Bernard Cord, as the ones who took the decision to put Prime Minister Maurice Bishop under house arrest amidst a power struggle for control of the New Jewel movement-led 1979 to 1983 Grenada Revolution. In an exclusive 3-hour interview with the New Today, a Grenada-based newspaper, the ex-Army commander said that he first heard that Bishop was ordered not to leave his home at a top brass party meeting in Butler House, where the house of the Prime Minister was then located. He said that he had met with both Lane and Cornwall at the Army headquarters on Fort Rupert, and the conversation ended with him going to engage soldiers in a discussion and the two informing him that they were going to see Cord at his home at Mount Welldale, which was adjacent to Bishop's official residence. According to Austin, it was clear to him that Cord, Lane, and Cornwall had a plan to deal with Bishop, who had reneged on a decision taken by the level of the Central Committee to share the leadership of the NJM with his deputy. When they go by Bernard, the two of them go out and put Maurice under house arrest with Bernard's instigation, he said. I get to know that afterwards. It was them, two, that go and do it, he added. The general statement that the reason given for Bishop's house arrest was a rumor that surfaced in the country that Cord and his late wife, Jamaican wife rather, Phyllis, was planning to kill the Prime Minister. He stated that some elements within the NJM took the position that because of the rumor, both Bishop and Cord would be restricted to their homes. The security forces led by Lieutenant Colonel Liam Owusu James rally that they had later pinned to the Prime Minister. However, the general noted that Cord was allowed to go all over the place while Bishop was confined incommunicado at Mount Welldale, and his phone lines were also cut. You see the trick, said General Austin, who was also known to be supportive of Bishop prior to the October 1983 crisis within the NJM. Austin, along with Cord, James Lane Cornwall, former Mobilization Minister Selwyn Strachan, and several top government and army figures were convicted in a local court for the killing of Bishop and his close aides on Fort Rupert. On October 19, 1983, a large crowd of pro-Bishop supporters led by executed Foreign Affairs Minister Unison Whiteman pushed aside soldiers and stormed into Mount Welldale to free the Prime Minister. There are reports that Bishop and Whiteman embraced, and the Prime Minister then turned to Lieutenant Callistus Iman Abdullah Bernard, who was in charge of the squad of soldiers keeping him under house arrest, and said that the people came for him and he was going with them. Preparations were being made to take the Prime Minister to the St. George Market Square, where he was expected to address supporters on the internal power struggle with Cord and his clique for control of Grenada Revolution. An investigation carried out by the New Today revealed that on reaching the top of Market Hill, that a former bodyguard who was able to convince the Prime Minister to head to Fort Rupert instead. Bishop is said to have told close aides once reaching inside the operations room of the army at Fort Rupert that the revolution will continue, but without Cord. Two of Bishop's close allies, Whiteman and trade unionist Vincent Noel, were then engaged in heated telephone communication with Major Ian St. Bernard, who was then telephoned to ask for discussions to continue with the Cord clique to resolve the internal crisis within the NJM leadership. Whiteman and Noel rejected the offer and instructed St. Bernard to go and inform Lane, James, and Cornwall to surrender to the nearest police station. Within minutes, Lane took the decision to dispatch 3 armored cars to Fort Rupert to recapture from Bishop and his supporters. The Prime Minister was taken into custody and then lined up against a wall at the top square of the fort along with Whiteman. Education Minister Jacqueline Kreft, Housing Minister Norris Brain, and businessmen Evelyn Bratt, Bullen, Evelyn Maitland, and Keith Pumphead, hailing and were machine gunned to death. General Austin has maintained that the decision to execute Bishop and Whiteman and the others should be placed squarely at the feet of Cord, Lane, Cornwall, James, and others who were members of the secretive cell group within the NJM known as the Organization of Revolutionary Education and Liberation, OREL. Wow.
Pioneer of Caribbean Zouk music dies. A little over a week ago, the Caribbean mourned the passing of a music pioneer, Jacob Davrio, the Guadeloupean co-founder of Caribbean band Kassav. Kassav, which shot to global fame in the 1980s by creating the fast-beat Zouk music style, died of COVID-19. Local media in French territory of Guadeloupe announced the death at age 65 late on Friday, July 30th, prompting an outpouring of grief. The West Indies Africa music have just lost one of their greatest ambassadors, tweeted Senegalese music star Youssou N'Dour. Jacob, thank you. You brought the West Indies and Africa closer together. Dakar, where you once lived, mourns your farewell, friend. In poor health after undergoing a kidney transplant, the singer and guitarist was taken to hospital in Pointe-à-Pitre, Guadeloupe's largest city, on July 12th after catching COVID-19. A giant of Zouk music, an unparalleled guitarist, an emblematic voice of West Indies, Jacob Davrio was of those things at once. French President Emmanuel Macron tweeted, Davrio found French Daily Liberation in 2016 that his band Cassav started out in Paris as an experiment. He wanted to find a soundtrack that would combine all the previous Caribbean traditions and sounds, but that would be exportable anywhere, he said. And so Zouk was born, rising to global fame, particularly in France and on the African continent, where people partied to the festive rhythm. We question our origins through our music, he told the Liberation. What were we going here? We were black and spoke French. Cassav rose to prominence along with the increasing popularity of world music in the 1980s. The brainchild Guadeloupean artists Pierre-Edouard Decimus and Freddie Marshall. The band was founded in 1979 with Desvario, who was born in Paris and had been influenced by guitarist Chuck Berry and Jimi Hendrix. The band-based style is cuoca, and a kind of Guadeloupean drumming music topped up with ingredients from all over the Caribbean and a modern twist. Cassav's first album was released in 1979, and the band reached its peak popularity at the end of the 1980s. It signed a contract with the multinational CBS record label and was praised by jazz legend Miles Davis.
Wow.
Cassav.
Cassav.
Everybody knows Cassav.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
And, I even had a hard time bringing across that story because I've seen Cassav live a couple of times, and each time it was better, And that guitarist stood out because there were times he would come to the front, he would play the guitar, he would sing, he would perform. It's like saying, what would be the world now, the music world, without Cassav?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great music.
Yep.
Let's talk a bit about the other story with Maurice Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that is a story that I followed. I can tell you, it took place on Wednesday, the 19th of October.
My birthday. I'll never forget, I was in LBC TV reading the news, and this story came across. And it was like, wow, we didn't know that, we were, being threatened, and such actions were still going on in the Caribbean.
Yeah. I was on my way to a JC's meeting, and I thought I was the only person following the happenings in Grenada until I heard everybody talking about it. But it shows that what happens in one island affects us all.
Yes.
And with the Cubans and other talks, everybody got concerned about what was happening. And sometimes you think, well, if it happened there,
it could happen here.
So, anyhow, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with headlines from around the world. Coming up shortly, Greece firefighters struggle to tame wildfires. Eastern European women forced to sterilize receive compensation, and Britain initiates deportation to Jamaica. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back.
Organic Creations is your place when looking for natural health supplements and whole foods. We supply a wide variety of herbal teas, multivitamins, liquid herbs, artist life products, organic nuts and grains, essential oils, and supplements for a wide variety of health conditions, all at reasonable price. Our certified nutritionist is the perfect guide for supplements that best suits you. Inquire also about our gift certificate for that special someone. Remember, your health is your responsibility. So visit Organic Creations today at shop number 1 in the Orange Grove Shopping Center there in Colby, or call us at 721-523-9496. We open Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Organic Creations, where your health is top priority.
Welcome back, viewers. I am Valerie Van Putten, and my co-host is sitting here beside me, Mr. Fernando Clark.
Let's give a review and a small chat of the stories discussed. But before we do that, let's go straight into the headlines around the world. Valerie?
Okay. Now, Greece battles deadly wildfires near Athens and in Invia land. Thousands left their homes near the Greek capital, which is cloaked in acrid smoke, and 600 fled Avia by boat. On Friday, a man was killed by a falling electricity pylon near Athens, health officials said, and firefighters from France, Switzerland, Sweden, Cyprus, and Romania have been deployed to assist Greece. Gale force winds are forecast to fan the many blazes. Residents of Marathon, northeast of Athens, were told to head to the coast on Friday as wildfires spread along several fronts. Dozens of homes have been destroyed or damaged, and several dozen injured people are in the hospital. If some people still doubt if climate change is real, let them come and see the intensity of the phenomena here, Greek Prime Minister Kyria Mitsotakis said. Climate change increases the risk of the hot, dry weather that is likely to fuel wildfires. Greece has had a week of temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius or 107 degrees Fahrenheit, and vegetation is bone dry. The world has already warned, but about 1.2 since the industrial era began, and temperatures will keep rising unless governments around the world make steep cuts to emissions. In Korkoloi, on the island of Evia, resident Loanis Aslanis told the AFP news agency, "It's a disaster, everything burnt in the village." Wildfires are also raging in Albania and Bulgaria, where they began spreading in late July. North Macedonia has declared a state of emergency over its own blazes. And in southwestern Turkey, the heat wave has made local wildfires the most intense on record. 8 people have died and several hundred have been injured, with thousands of residents and tourists forced to flee.
And in other news, women sterilized against their will to receive compensation. Thousands of women who were forcibly sterilized will finally be compensated following years of campaigning by victims and advocates. A landmark bill to compensate victims of unlawful sterilization was signed into law by President of the Czech Republic this week. Up to 400 women, most of them are Roma, could now be eligible for payment of up to 300,000 Czech crowns, around 10,000 euros, paid by Czech Ministry of Health. Earlier this year, digital publication Vice World News spoke to victims of unlawful sterilization who had little hope that they would ever be compensated for being sterilized against their will under semi-official eugenic policies aimed at curbing the Roma population in what was then the Soviet satellite state of Czechoslovakia. These state policies offered various material benefits to women who would undergo sterilization during communist rules. Sterilization initiatives were officially banned in 1991, but women like Simoa Milenkova are living proof of the practice continued into the 2000s. Milenkova was just 25 when in 2010 doctors informed her she would not be able to have children because they had tied her fallopian tubes. "I welcome the news, but I won't mend the pain that doctors inflicted on my family," Milenkova said in a phone interview after the compensation bill was signed into law this week. Kumar Vishwanathan, a key campaigner for reparations for Ostrova, Northern Czech Republic, said that the compensation law followed a decade-long fight. The past regime acted like a puppet master managing its slave citizens. This had catastrophic consequences for women, especially Roma women, said Viswanathan. The Czech government apologized to the victims in 2009, but it took another 10 years before lawmakers drafted a bill outlining compensation for the victim. What these women managed to achieve is an incredible lesson about turning trauma into justice. And I hope it will open up further discussions about other human rights infringements, said Viswanathan. Despite the victory, he believes that Czech society has a long way to go to see women treated with more respect.
Now, in other news, the United Kingdom government has been criticized for chartering a flight to deport up to 50 people, including a vulnerable drug user and a man who arrived in the country as a baby. Campaigners have condemned the UK Home Office for its decision to deport Jamaican nationals who have lived in the UK for over 20 years for drug offenses. On Wednesday, a charter flight is scheduled to remove up to 50 people, some of whom are linked to the Windrush generation after criminal convictions triggered deportation orders. Karen Doyle, a Movement for Justice and immigrant rights campaign organization, told Vice World News that almost half of the 20 people she has spoken to who are being put on the flight are being deported for non-violent drug offenses. One of the men due to be deported, despite a pledge made by the UK government in November that it would stop deporting Jamaican nationals who came to Britain as minors, arrived in the UK when he was just 2 years old. Now 23, the man has a baby son, a partner, and an elderly mother living in London. As a child, he had a tough upbringing and was in trouble with the police multiple times as a young teenager. It feels unfair to send me back to a country I don't know. I did nursery, reception, primary school, and secondary school in England. I haven't been in an airplane or left here since I was 2 years old, he told The Guardian earlier this week. This week, it was revealed that 5 people who have been killed in Jamaica in the past year after being deported by the UK by the Home Office. Responding to its plans to deport the group next week, a Home Office spokesperson said Thursday, people who come to this country and commit crimes should be expected to be removed. That is why we regularly operate charter flights to different countries, to remove foreign offenders and those who have no right to be in the country but refuse to or fail to leave voluntarily.
Well, we're going to a commercial break.
Yes.
When we come
Must
back,
need one.
there'll be more news.
Stay tuned.
Organic Creations is your place when looking for natural health supplements and whole foods. We supply a wide variety of herbal teas, multivitamins, liquid herbs, artist life products, organic nuts and grains, essential oils, and supplements for a wide variety of health conditions, all at reasonable price. Our certified nutritionist is the perfect guide for supplements that best suits you. Inquire also about our gift certificate for that special someone. Remember, your health is your responsibility. So visit Organic Creations today at shop number 1 in the Orange Grove Shopping Center there in Colby, or call us at 721-523-9496. We open Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Organic Creations, where your health is top priority.
Welcome back, viewers, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. This is our premiere program of the SXM Daily News Magazine, and I hope you enjoyed it. And Fernando, it was good having you here.
It's good being with you, Valerie. It's good being around professionals. And we do hope that our viewers have enjoyed this. And we invite you to tune in again next Saturday, same time.
Okay.